let's linger on why McCarthy and the Cowboys parted ways, John. What happened in the days between the final game of the regular season and Monday?
Well, I think that you also have to include, you have to go back, I think it's a year to this day, that Green Bay lost, just because of what the team was set up for. The Cowboys, like I said, they don't do much in the offseason to add talent from other teams, but they certainly, to their level, they felt like they were going all in when they traded for Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore. They felt like that team last year was set up to really make a deep playoff run. They were great at home, winning 16 in a row. And then to lay the egg they did to get destroyed by the Packers as the 7 seed. Cowboys were a 7-point favorite in that game. That's where everything kind of started, because if it's not for that game, I think McCarthy gets a contract extension at that point and doesn't have to kind of coach in this last year for his job. And so things obviously didn't go well this season. You could certainly make the argument there's a lot of residual effects from that Packers loss, particularly at the start of this season. The first 5 or 6 games they played at home, the way they were just destroyed by teams, including like the Saints, who aren't even on that type of a level. I think things started to fall apart there. Then the injuries, key injuries, the guys like Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, that obviously didn't make it any better. And so I think Jerry wanted to give Mike every opportunity to try and, maybe slip in the back door of the playoffs and get hot at the right time. And when that didn't happen, I don't think Jerry was committed to going long term. And I think Mike wanted another, similar deal to what he got last time, 5 years, but probably a lot more money than I think he was making $8 million on this last one, especially when you think of what some of the top coaches are making. And I think that was the sticking point. But they never got, from everything I've heard, they have not gotten into a actual numbers and years discussion at depth. And I think that's what ultimately got even Mike McCarthy to be like, all right, it's just best that we go in different directions because this thing isn't going anywhere.
So is McCarthy who walked first, who balked and then walked? That's your general sense of things?
I think what happened is, I think Jerry was dragging it out, and I think Mike read that, this probably isn't going in a direction where we're going to come to agreement. And so why drag this thing out any longer? I think it's just best we just go our separate ways, because Jerry dragged it out with Jason Garrett, even though at the end of 2019 season, you knew he wasn't going to bring Jason back. And that went over a week until they finally made an announcement that they would go in another direction. And so I think that Jerry probably wanted Mike back, but only for maybe a year or two. And I don't think that Mike was interested in that at all.
And when you say Jerry dragging it out, boy, have we heard that before, John. You know what I mean? And I just kind of feel you're going to be the latest person where I ask you a psychoanalytic question about Jerry Jones and his way of doing business. Why? Why do you think it is? As someone who covers and someone who listens and somebody who pokes around, what's your analysis of why Jerry Jones drags things out to the last possible second, John?
Well, the number one thing is definitely he likes the Cowboys always being talked about. And so when you get things done in advance, then everybody just knows what to expect and you just go on with your day. And you see that with a lot of the top organizations, whether you talk about Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Green Bay, and there's obviously several others, but that's just not the Cowboys way, not under Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones likes to keep things out there. He likes everyone to be talking about him. And while he loves to say that he has a high tolerance for ambiguity, which he said many a times even after last Sunday's loss to Washington, you have to sit there and go, well, that doesn't mean everybody else feels the same way. It certainly wasn't best for CeeDee Lamb for that contract extension to be dragged out and him not be at training camp. It doesn't appear that was the best thing to wait a couple hours before the season opener to give Dak his new contract. The way that they don't do anything in free agency and kind of drag it out like that they're just going to find some bargains during camp or right before the season starts. The thinking is just not there that's lined up with the top winning organizations in this sport. And it's safe to think if a fan or a reporter or anybody you're the most valued franchise. Like the expectation should be that you're getting the absolute best and you're doing the absolute best. And that really isn't the case with the Dallas Cowboys. That's why it's been 29 years since they've won a Super Bowl. But Jerry loves, like he says, he loves to stir it up. When things get a little quiet, he loves to stir it up. And so like right now, he's gonna milk this whole coaching search thing for all that it's worth. And it doesn't even mean that it's going to lead to the best candidate, but it's going to keep the Cowboys in the news cycle, and Jerry loves that.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.